I can honestly say that it makes gaming more exciting than it's ever been. Ever. That's all I'm saying. That's it.
What are they saying on the street?
There goes the neighbor.
I think info you might be the soft one.
What's up,
Okay.
Trash?
Sorry. I had to mute my TV because I don't want anything extra coming through.
Yeah.
And now it is on my screen. What the heck? I thought I. Cool. I don't hear myself echoing. Awesome. Can everyone talk? I will say, bring your voice up, bring your voice down, whatever,
All right. This is info. This is my relatively normal speaking voice.
All right, info. I think you got to come up a smidge.
Okay.
Trev G here. Just hanging out.
Trav, you were really loud. You got to come down a smidge. Basic.
Okay.
Basic
How about
stepped
now?
Away. Recheck on
All
Trav.
right, I'm not.
Oh, sorry. This is mine now. How does mine sound?
Actually, I've got a thing on. Let me. Okay.
Should I say something else?
You sound good to me in my headset, but I don't know what's coming through on Twitch.
All right. I'm gonna mute myself. That way, there's no echo.
Okay.
And y'all just talk. If I.
Okay. What about me? How do I sound right now?
I'm hearing myself echo. If I think of
I'm
anything
gonna
else,
talk.
I will let y'all know.
All right, hey, how do I sound? This is Jube.
Sound terrible, Jube. Long time.
Yeah. Gonna make a comment about your voice.
Trash says Jube is good in chat. All right.
What about basic? How is basic in chat? Am I too loud or am I all right?
We are on ad break, but hopefully Trash has a subscription and doesn't have to listen to the ads. Voices sound good. All right. I also see Ad Astra joining us. We get an audio.
Yeah, I'm LL Cool Game. Sorry.
That's what I thought. I looked at that
I
picture.
don't know. Interesting. Why it's that? Whatever. I'm a man of many names.
Okay. We're coming off ad break in 15 seconds. When that ends, I will start the intro, and I'm going to kick it to Basic right away after the intro, and he's basically going to run the show. So we have about 5, 4.
Apologies in advance.
Welcome, everyone. This is the Channel 3 Video Game Book Club discussion for the Talos Principle. We are joined today by a panel of so-called experts. I am the Video Game Book Club founder, InfoCynic. With me today is Basic, who will be running this discussion. Say hi, Basic.
Hi, Basic.
And Trav G.
Yeah, hey.
And
Happy to be here.
And Jube, somehow jubing it up.
No, I'm here on time. I'm doing it just right. No jubing today.
No jubing today.
Hello.
And LL Cool Games also joining us.
I'm here.
All right. This is going to be a pretty much, I don't know, Basic. We're going to have any spoiler-free section here, or do we just get spoiler warnings out now?
I think it's probably safe just to do spoiler warnings now, but the story discussion stuff probably will happen in, I don't know, not right away, so there's time. And I'll kind of let people know when we're doing that. So
okay. Well then, Basic, take us away and introduce us however you want and just roll with it. I am just here to help.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, so hello everyone. I am Basic, and I'm the one that subjected the group to this game. Well, Info sort of let me do it, but I'm the one that was been pushing for this one for a really long time. So, Talos Principle is probably one of my favorite games that I've ever played. It's a game that came out. Let me actually pull that up really quick. So it first released in 2014, and it's like a first person or first or third person puzzle game, and it kind of blends like well crafted puzzles with philosophy and really in depth kind of world building to create this experience that is something I haven't really seen in very many games prior to playing Talos Principle, and I haven't seen it in very many games since. So I was really excited to kind of get everyone's eyes on this because I don't think it's something that a ton of people had played before. It's something that I think I only kind of found it out like by mistake almost on Steam by just browsing puzzle games, and I heard that this was from some of the people that had developed Serious Sam, which is a first person shooter game that I really liked. So I kind of went into it with not very many expectations and came out of it being like, I absolutely love it. So, the way that I'm planning on kind of having this discussion go around is that we're going to just start kind of with a quick opener and then talk about the puzzle design and the gameplay first, and then jump a little bit more into kind of the world and the story and all of that. So, but before we jump into that, I guess I'm going to just kind of kick off the discussion by saying like we'll go kind of in a round table, but for everybody, if you had, to describe Talos Principle in one sentence with the takeaway that you got from the game, whether you liked it or not, what would that sentence be? How would you describe Talos Principle?
Ooh, that is a
All right.
tough one. Go ahead, Jube.
No, go ahead, Info.
Okay,
Info,
that was true.
go.
Oh yeah. Okay, I would say the weirdest puzzle game I've played in a long time. I played some decent puzzle games, but like, it's a puzzle game with an existential crisis at its core, maybe?
Yeah.
Trav, what do you think?
There's no way I would ever have even known about this game without this book club. And I loved it. Like I don't love puzzle games as a rule because I'm an idiot, but I absolutely love this game, and I just can't say enough about this book club. Yeah.
Awesome. And it was LL Cool Games, right?
Yes. So I guess for me, I loved the puzzles. For me, it kind of like reawoke missed LL Cool Games, right? And kind of brought her into the future and kind of because it definitely has that whole what am I supposed to be doing and why am I here feel to it the entire time. It's gorgeous, and that's yeah, I got stuck and I really didn't care. Like at the point I stopped and it was like, no, that's fine. I'll just go wander through the fields, and walk out in the water as far as I can. Like I just was
Yeah.
enjoying the environment so much that the puzzles were there and I get it, but I'm really excited for the discussion about how the story kind of hopefully resolves itself.
Yeah. And then I think we got Jube, right?
Yeah. This is I call it a first person puzzler where the story itself is a puzzle too. Like Cool Game said, I like how that kind of revealed as you went along and you discovered bits of lore if you decided to explore around a little more. It reminded me a lot of the Portal games as I was going along. I'm like, this is, you have these trials you're going through, and there's this voice trying to guide you through it, but something is amiss. So that's how I felt.
Out of curiosity, who did everyone here play Reawakened, or did they play the original version? We'll talk a little bit more about the differences in later on, but I just kind of caught maybe the unintentional reawakening pun from LL Cool Games. So just curious about that.
I played Reawakened on Xbox Series. I previously played through the original, so I did go ahead and double dip here because I was like, I looked at some of those changes and I was like, okay, that's worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did anyone
I
else
played
play Reawaken?
because I'd never heard of this game until 2 months ago.
Yeah.
I played the original. It's been on my wish list, I think, for a while. I'd had my eye on it because I like puzzle games. But yeah, I saw it after you had announced it. I saw it for pretty cheap, $4, I think, on Steam. So I just grabbed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wound up buying the Reimagined on Steam, but the game facts that I was using to help me through some of the more stubborn puzzles was an original. So I know from my 10-year-old game facts experience, I kind of know some of the differences. But again, yeah, I'm excited to hear some of the little tweaks and things that happened to update it for now.
Yeah, I think like probably 99% of it is like exactly the same. There's like one specific mechanic that we'll talk about a little bit later on that is just like vastly improved in the Reawaken version. Um, but yeah, so we've kind of we've touched on it a little bit in our openings, but like we kind of got the first impressions, but did like when you first jumped into the game, because it like Info said, it's a pretty weird game, and I'm kind of curious, like did it take a while before the game kind of clicked and before you kind of understood like what you were supposed to be doing, or was it something that you kind of just like jumped in and like I couldn't put it down kind of thing? Because for me, it was definitely a little bit of the latter, where like I had heard about it as like oh, it's kind of like if you played Portal, you'll probably like this, but it was like very different from Portal, and there were certain things that took me a really long time to wrap my brain around the first time that I played it. So I'm wondering kind of what everyone else's experience was like, as far as like the first impressions and how long it kind of took for the game to kind of click, or if it never clicked.
Yeah, I can start. I think those first few puzzles you kind of get right away, and I love puzzle. Like I said, I love puzzle games, so I was just kind of like, yeah, all right, I got to go in and start solving these. But I didn't get a good strategy on these until later on. Like I looked back towards the end and thought, wow, why did I look up hints on some of those early ones? My brain was just able to think outside the box better the more I went along. Thought, oh, you can actually stack these boxes. You can do these mechanics that they didn't exactly tell you, but it does make sense that you can do it. So yeah, it clicked for me. I'd say at World B is where I started really thinking, okay, yeah, I can figure these out and start to have fun with it. And yeah, that's where I got the bug, I think.
I don't know if I could even answer this fairly since it was a replay for me.
Yeah.
I can't remember far enough back to like when I played it the first time.
All right. So when I first started the game, again, I played this because of the immense respect I have for Basic and InfoCynic. And you guys said like this is going to be a great game. And initially, I hated it because I just didn't know what the heck was going on.
Winning.
Totally
But
fair.
I persevered. And I will say, like, I went to YouTube probably more than most. But at the same time, like, I mean, that's just kind of what you have to do at times to move on, to have fun. And I absolutely loved it. I'm sorry, I've got the game up right now. Level 4 on the A world. Like when I think for me, I didn't acknowledge like it was like every world or level, it's a level that you have to solve, but it's also an open world. And on the level 4, to get the star out of it, that you have to get the light out of one world
Oh
into the other level. I mean, to me, like that was just it blew my mind.
Yeah, the
And
meta
and that
of
and that's when
everything.
I was totally into it at that point.
Yeah, if you start going for the stars, you start having to really meta solve outside the scope of a single level.
Well, but some
Yeah,
of
they can
them
get pretty tricky.
I felt like you could kind of sense when that was well, and again, like you were saying, as the levels progress, you start to kind of get a sense of, this like light beamy thing, I can see it when I first walk into the level. So it's going to be doing something out. Like you start to kind of understand where the what the environment is asking of you just because we've spent so much time wandering around. The first week I downloaded this, I played 10 hours of this game.
Oh man.
I could not stay out of it because it was so engrossing. And I haven't played, my God, I haven't played anything like this probably in forever. Just that complete feeling of being, being completely lost. What the heck am I supposed to be doing? And then you kind of start doing puzzles. It's like, okay. And then you get a couple right. Okay. And you start unlocking things. And I mean, and then, right, again, I still wound up totally stuck. And I couldn't even go to YouTube. My brain can't watch this video. I had to read it in order to kind of help myself through steps. But again, and it's one of those games where I'm just thrilled something like this exists in a world of why did this video game get made? It's one of those where it's like, thank God this video game got made.
Thank God, or thank Elohim.
Yeah.
Thank Elohim. Right.
It's funny you mention that though, because that's actually one thing that I liked about the game as well, is that it really there's a lot of games that are made that definitely feel like they're games that are made because like I just want to make like a game sort of thing. Whereas like with Talos Principle, you can kind of get a sense going through it that there was like a real vision here, and like somebody, you could tell this was like, I have to make this. Like this is a game that's I need to create because it's like on my brain. You know what I mean? As opposed to just like, oh well, I'm gonna make like, because I'm doing a lot of, I've posted about this on Channel 3, doing a lot of like game development stuff, and it's like I'm gonna make a 2D platformer, and there's that meme of like all the Buzz Lightyears from Toy Story 2 just like on the wall, and it's like that's what every starting game
Yeah.
developer does. But this game doesn't feel like
Yes.
that at all. It's like there was a very clear vision here, you know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
yeah, the
this
thing about the stars too, like one other thing that I we mentioned the stars here. I like actually, and I guess this gets in, we're kind of getting into the puzzle design and gameplay, and I'm kind of jumping the gun here a bit, but one of the things that I like overall about the way that the puzzles are designed is that some of those early stars where you're meant to be thinking in like a meta level about how to get this star. I like how even though the solution is not obvious, you realize that you have to go outside the puzzle. So a lot of times what some of the earlier stars will do is there's like a red connecting segment and there's no red lasers in the puzzle. So it's like, well, the only thing you're going to be able to do if you want this star, you have to pull the red laser from somewhere. And so you start thinking about where that's going to happen. So there's just like really like well-crafted design in terms of like getting you to think about like getting you to reorient your brain for how it wants the puzzles to be solved without like a
I couldn't even kind of figure it out. I didn't try.
yeah, it's definitely like I've played through this game like multiple things like the connector and so
Yeah.
there's
And
like a
then the
lot of
pan.
tools, and and they build on each other kind of gradually until like the last puzzles in World C make you have to use like everything in ways that like you didn't even think you could use the tools together to solve a puzzle. But the thing that I wanted to ask about first was like, just like as a general kind of matter, like what are the tools that you thought were kind of the most um I don't know if like the most fun to use is the right way to phrase it, but like kind of like the most well designed or the most kind of like well rounded tools that you're like, oh yeah, like this makes sense. And what are the tools that like if they showed up in a puzzle, it was either just like, oh, this is a drag, or like, oh man, this sucks. Like what was your favorite kind of tool in like a singular tool to use, and then what was the thing that you just like kind of didn't really like the most?
Hold 1 sec. My network dropped for a sec. I've reconnected, but it looks like the stream is buffering or something. It seems like we are. Okay, Trash says we're good. So go ahead, continue.
Okay. Okay. For the people that that missed that kind of question, the main question was like there are lots of tools. There's the jammer. Actually, maybe I should just like talk about what these things are. So there's the jammer, which like kind of turns off doors or turns off like the mines or the machine guns that are kind of laid about the course.
It stops pretty much anything electronic from working.
Yeah.
One.
And then
It stops one.
One specific thing that is
one thing.
That it has a clear line of sight to. But that line of sight can be pretty much infinite as long as it has a clear line of sight, which is really important.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's that one. There's the connector, which allows you to take kind of lasers that are strewn about some of the puzzles, and you can connect them to either other connectors or connect them to kind of receptacles that'll open up doors and stuff. So there's the jammers, connectors, there's fans, boxes, and then the recording devices and the platform are the other two. So those are and the recording device is a really unique one because what it allows you to do is you press the record button on this device, and then it creates like a clone of yourself. So you go and do some stuff, you run back to the recorder box, and then you press play, and your clone runs around and does all of the stuff that you just did, and it also clones all of the tools. So if you turn on the recorder and pick up a box and go put the box somewhere, then the box still exists in the world when you press the play button. So you can actually, in a sense, use it to duplicate tools. So it's like a really complex tool, but it gives you like a lot of options for solving puzzles. So that's what all the tools are. So that was the question that I kind of raised before we kind of had the network issues there was like, what tool was your favorite tool? And then what was your least favorite tool? Like if you saw it show up in a puzzle, you're just like, please just like, I'm going to turn off the game now because I can't handle this right now.
So I love the light receptacle. What's the right term?
The connector.
Connector. The connector.
Connectors.
Yeah. Especially, like when I realized that you could throw the light through the walls. Like you can't take any items through the walls, but the light actually passed through the walls. And so connecting that between, and that's what kind of blew my mind, where you have that, you have your level per se, but you also have the open world, and the light could pass through that open world. So I love the light receptacle.
Mm-hmm.
And
what about your least favorite? Was there anything in particular you didn't like, or like puzzle mechanics or tools that you were just like, this just kind of either it's not fun or it's just not well designed or anything like that?
Well, I mean every. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Elo.
Okay. I mean, I can take my turn.
Go.
Yeah, go for it.
Tell you.
Okay, I guess number one, my biggest thing would be nothing was ever labeled. So to even talk about it, even to myself, I had to like in my head name things. So like a fan is a fan and a box is a box. Although a box is apparently a hexahedron.
It's a hexahedron.
And
it's a cube.
And then it's like, what am I even supposed to call this? So I'll start with my absolute dislike. And I know it's just my brain could not wrap around the recording device. And like I could even see like I need to do this, I need to do this, but the timing, and then God bless the fact that I could only record it and then play it back one time. I only got one try. No.
Yeah.
I was like, Anna, I'm done. I'm done with this. Like I will just wander around and enjoy other things and look at other things. But I obviously am not going to get past this. I loved the fan one for me. Like for whatever reason, I could understand, and they were really fun, right? To like blow the boxes all over, or
Oh yeah.
to right get the light to kind of hover, suspend up in the air, so you could shoot it over walls. That was great fun. Yeah. All right, that's me.
I want to just jump in really quick to follow up on the recorder because I forget. Did you say you played Reawakened or you played the original?
I did play Reawakened.
Yeah. The one thing I wanted to mention quickly about, since we're on the topic of the recorder, so the Reawakened version, it's actually like less chaotic than the original, because in the original, the way the recorder worked is that it was like just on a timer. And so there's a lot of puzzles that show up, especially in World C, where you have to stand in like on a switch for a good like 10 to 15 seconds to give yourself enough time to complete the rest of the puzzle. And like if you mess up the timing at all, you have to start over again. And it was like super tedious when I first played it. It was by far like my least favorite thing in the game. And in Reawakened, what they did was they changed it so you could actually add like save states. So you could pause the recording, so you could just go run and stand on a switch and then press like create a save state there, and it made the timing a lot better. But the recorder, even with all that, is still something that there's a lot of puzzles that they're very hard to figure out. There's one, I'm kind of jumping the gun here, but there's one where there's a puzzle that shows up in World C where you're supposed to like, I think it's like Alley of the something or others. I forget what it's called, but you're supposed to stand on a sequence of like buttons, and you have jammers and boxes, and it's like it's super hard to figure out with the recorder. And I think I solved it like by accident. I didn't solve it the way it was supposed to, and it was just completely wrong.
Yeah, I think it's like
And
Alley
it
of
gets
the
even
Seven Gates or something like that. Yeah.
yeah,
It's like
it's
seven
pretty
force
crazy.
fields in a row.
Yeah.
Some of them you have to do with
Yeah.
the jammer. Some you have to do with the connector. Some you have to do with the recorder. Like, it's fun.
Yeah,
But
you got all
the
of it
recorder, I always
No.
say, is like you either get it or you just don't. I don't think there's a like, oh, I can kind of struggle bus through this. Like, you maybe can with enough tries, but for the most part, I think the recorder is, it either makes sense and you are able to kind of figure it out in a couple tries, or just go to the guide.
So
Yeah,
it worked
and
for me. I actually loved it.
Weirdo.
Yeah, I was just gonna say my favorite. Maybe my brain's weird, but that was my favorite mechanic because I was worried it was gonna be too complex. I wasn't gonna be able to solve it with this because it does get into those, like we said, with the 7 doors where you have to think through your placement and the placement of the items that you have, and it can kind of get to be too much too quickly, but um, I think they laid out the levels really well to guide you in some of those, so that you at least have an idea of where you need to be, and then yeah, it didn't feel too overwhelming most of the time for me, and I thought it was going to be one of those where you have to just have uh, always be thinking about the entire puzzle the entire time that you're doing this, uh, but it wasn't that way. Like I could do multiple attempts, and each time it was like I was iterating. I didn't get it right, but I kind of figured out how to go a little bit further. Um, so the way that I was able to actually like grind and slowly progress through it made it to be my favorite of the mechanics. Um, yeah, I just some of those just really hit well, and I liked it with the that platform, whatever it was. Whenever you had to record and put yourself on your shoulders, that was a really fun level as well.
oh yeah. Yeah, I think the recorder, I liked it a lot more in my second playthrough on the Reawakened version than I did in the original. That quality of life change, I think, for me just made it a lot more. Like, I got to think more about the recorder and its impact on the puzzle than I did. Like, I got to spend more time in Reawakened thinking about that aspect of the recorder as opposed to thinking about, like, oh God, I hope that I like waited long enough to be able to get to the rest of the puzzle, that kind of thing, you know?
Right. Or and then you didn't like, okay, now I'm standing here for 20 seconds. Like, did I remember to move in the recording or did I stop here for some reason? Like, with the
Yeah.
ability to just pause the recording as you're making it and be like, okay, just pause here, and then when you're playing it back, just okay, it pauses until you press another key. Oh, I with the platform, okay, I can definitely pause here, and then because I know that I'm going to need to, when playback, get on. Then once I'm on, I can hit play again. It'll just pick up right away from there. I didn't have to wait and like guess like, okay, it's gonna be about 10 seconds, and I'm gonna need to walk over here and pause again. Like, it's just so much easier. I don't think I could go back.
Yeah, I mean, it just allows you to think about the puzzle, right? Like you can, if you know you're gonna have to pause somewhere,
Yeah.
you can just do that and then go back and just feel like, okay, now what's like the next step, and actually just like think about it. So that's something I really like.
Especially
But man,
there's
and I don't know.
there's a
I was gonna
couple
say I don't know if
places where
anybody
you
played any of the DLCs.
not
Oh, sorry.
yet. I want to. But
They are insane. They make the recorder I hate it so much. It's awful because the
Oh,
DLC
okay.
puzzles are incredibly hard. They're by far like
Yeah.
they're way harder than anything in the base game, and you have to. They make use of like really obscure interactions between like between tools and stuff. It's just, and the recorder just adds a whole layer of complexity on top of that, and it's really really tough.
yeah, there's occasionally times where like I know that like one of the tower levels, probably many levels, but like definitely has two kind of very different ways you can solve it. Uh,
Hmm.
like you can either use the recorder to kind of like do some fun things with jamming a turret and then kind of like setting up the jammer far enough down that you're going to be able to pick it up and run out of range of the turret before it can get you. Or you can like trick a mine into blowing up the turret. It's like
Hmm.
which
That
requires a
is always
lot.
very rewarding.
It is, but
Yeah.
it's a
Oh, I
lot.
love
It's a
that.
lot harder. It's a
So
lot
good.
harder to set that one up, with the mine hitting the turret. Like I found it like, oh, it's just much easier. I can just use the recorder, jam the turret, and then like take the jammer, place it down at like kind of the end of the range where I'm gonna need it, and like, yeah, it works. I'm not sure if this is intended or not, but it works.
I do like that aspect of the game too, how there's definitely like there's a pretty obvious, no, well, I won't say an obvious solution,
Yeah.
but the solution that they were going for, once
Yeah.
you see the solution, you're like, this is clearly how they meant the puzzle to be
Yeah.
solved. But a lot of the
Mhm.
puzzles you can just kind of like not do that. And in some of the earlier versions of the game, like you could actually take a jammer and you could like angle it in such a way that you could pull it through a door. So like that allowed people
Oh,
to like
that'd be
break a lot of the
amazing.
puzzles. Yeah. But they patched that out pretty early on. But
I bet.
um but yeah, so how did you guys feel about the overall difficulty curve going from world A to world B to world C? And did it seem kind of like, did it seem like there were any points where the difficulty jumped up like way like ramped up way faster than you were anticipating, or did it seem like relatively fair with how they were setting some of that stuff up?
I think like halfway through B, when you've kind of when you first get recorder, and it's like you're just trying to get the hang of like, okay, how do I sometimes have to use is that's world B or is that world C? I was thinking like where you start having
No,
to juggle fan and box and connector
Hmm.
and then you add recorder onto that, and it's, oh, this is starting to get a little bit much. Just like right when you first get it, it settles down pretty fast. I think after that, again, see previous discussion on recorder. But
Yeah.
like when you're just like, I feel like I had just gotten the hang of like, okay, box, fan, connector. Oh, sometimes I need to like use another connector temporarily to get the light going, but then once it's going, I can remove that connector because the connector I put on top of the box on top of the fan now has visibility to both the light and the receptacle. And now I'm going to try to do
Yeah,
the
recorder
recording too.
definitely. Yeah, recorder definitely added like a really big difficulty spike like right away. I don't know if anybody watched, so I made like a little video that I put on C3 talking about the differences between Reawakened and the base game, and specifically highlighted the recorder. I went into the very first puzzle that you could use the recorder in, just as like the demo of the difference, and I got stuck on that puzzle because I couldn't. There's like a switch you have to pull to like open up the door and like keep it open, and I just like couldn't find it. So it's like, yeah, those tend to make things kind of crazy. But is that kind of, did the other people have kind of a similar experience there? Was that like, was the recorder kind of where things started getting out of hand?
Yeah, I think I remember there being one easier recorder, almost like a tutorial level for it. But when you go into a world, they're not you don't necessarily go to each in order. So I think I started with one of the harder ones that integrated several other parts, and that I struggled with that off the get go. But then I found this one that's like, oh, it's just the recorder, and it's just kind of teaching you that. Okay, that's easy.
I think I got stuck on that exact same switch, like, which is really bad considering this is a replay for both of us. Like, we should not have gotten stuck on that switch. But it's like you're not the physical switches on like the walls are so rare. There's like maybe 4 or 5 levels, maybe total, where they show up. I don't immediately go looking for them.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Well,
went into
I
that
know
one
what you're
and
talking about. Okay, yeah.
yeah, I stood on that switch and I'm like, I go into the room and I'm like, what am I supposed to do here? Like, how do I open this door? I can't like, I'm clearly supposed to like use a recorder to stand on this switch to open up the second door, but then how do I do that without? And then it took me a good like probably like 5 or 6 minutes of just wandering around that puzzle. And then I actually like reloaded the puzzle because I'm like, maybe I just did something wrong here. And then I'm like, okay, never mind. There it is.
Right, and I played another game with this mechanic with Ratchet and Clank: A Crack in Time, and in that one, I'm pretty sure. I mean, that has been a while since I played that. It was PS3. I think you can make, and in fact need to make multiple recordings. I was like, okay, well, I'll play back the recording, and then in that recording, I'll make another recording. But no, thankfully, perhaps the game doesn't let you do that.
Oh God. Yeah.
Wow, yeah.
That didn't work. And then I found the switch, and then I felt dumb. This game has a lovely way of just making you feel really dumb when it's like, oh, I was making that way, way harder than it needed to be.
Yes. Several times that happened where it's just like, yep, oh, okay. Well, I think there were a few too where they intentionally had red herrings, like they give you this
Oh yeah.
door here,
Yes,
and you can
they
Yeah.
do.
you just ignore that, and you could just
Okay,
go straight
there
through
was
to
a level called Distraction, which really hit home. Honest
I'm
to
gonna look that
God,
one up
like
right now.
when. Sorry, what was that?
I said I'm gonna look that one up right now.
Yeah. So you got red light and blue light. As you go through it, you keep going through the doors, thinking like the red light opens as you get through there. Then the blue, you have to take the blue, but the game would suggest that you just need to keep going forward with the blue light, but you actually have to go backwards. And you have to
Right,
set
you
it
have to
up
kind of, let yourself in the side.
the blue light on high.
Oh, yeah.
Again, that was one of those levels that it blew my mind.
Oh yeah, Deception. That one. That's one I was. That is one of the ones that just is brutal.
Yeah.
I was just gonna get back. I don't think we let for LL Cool Games, because I know that you mentioned that you had kind of at some point there I think you haven't finished the game yet, right?
Yeah, no, that's not happening. The recorder is absolutely outside. Like there's like an IQ gate, obviously, and it's and like I think I was on the first recording level, and I could understand what I was supposed to do, and just the timing, and I'm just like, I'm gonna hate this. Like it I didn't want
Yeah.
to spoil the game for myself, so I just tapped out, and I'm just like, that's fine. We're gonna talk about it, so I'll find out what happens.
Yeah.
No, I guess difficulty wise for me, it was more, I get maybe it's just in my head, but I had
Mhm.
right like the yellow pieces and then the green pieces and then the red pieces were always harder. And
Yeah.
I felt like those ones got into combinations earlier. So I kind of would structure what I was going to do in order, right? Like the yellow ones, I just knock out. I know I can do the yellow ones. Make sure you're looking for purple pieces or stars as you're kind of going
Mhm.
as you get up into the higher ones. But the red ones are the ones where it's more likely I'm going to have to do things right, like more in the open world where the rooms are going to kind of talk to each other, or whatever. If I'm going to even try and pursue the extra level pieces. Um, yeah, and I guess I never really got super frustrated because I would just like stop and go to bed and kind of ruminate
Yeah.
on it and come back. And then I got to whatever the labyrinth one was. But I knew I could get it because the light thing made enough sense that if you just did it frequently enough, but the labyrinth one had like weird little nooks and crannies in it that you had to pass the light through, right? The horizontal windows.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah,
And so,
there's
so I had to
rules
kind of
about
keep,
which windows you can
yes.
go
Oh, yeah.
through.
The vertical bars are not actually bars. That is a solid wall. Don't you
Right.
dare.
Yeah.
Um, and so, right, I was good. I was good. I was good. Yeah, we're rolling. And then, yeah, you got to the recording box thing, and it was like, nope, it's fine.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Thankfully, I don't think they have the recorder in Talos Principle 2, which is something that I was pretty pleased with.
Oh man,
But
not for me.
it's hard. It's still tricky. There's a lot of challenging puzzles in it, but they just don't use the recorder. But we can talk about Talos Principle 2 towards the end there. We talked a little bit about like the difficulty, right? Like the things that kind of made us feel a little bit silly. Actually, so we've had a couple named puzzles come up. We had Deception and Labyrinth. Were there any other puzzles? I'm gonna ask kind of both ways. Maybe we can just hit on both of these right now. Were there any puzzles that like when you saw them, they just made you feel kind of silly? Like I just, the game is like clearly taunting me here. And on the other hand, were there any puzzles where you could kind of make incremental progress and at the end feel like, oh yeah, like man, I'm a genius. I can't believe I solved this. Like that's so cool. Or something where when you saw the solution, you were like, oh, that's really creative how they did that. So it's kind of a two-part question. Like, what were the puzzles that like really made you kind of like, you know, mouth open in awe at the mastery of the puzzle designers, and what were the other ones where you're just like, I kind of hate the people that made this game?
uh, I don't know if I could. I didn't look up names ahead of time. That's my bad. I should have. But uh, certainly, like some of those late game ones where it is, the connector on the box on the fan, and especially like, oh, not just the connector on the box on the fan, but the connector on the box on the fan, and then I need to throw another box under it, in order to just
Oh yeah.
barely get enough height.
Mm.
Like, okay, that was a neat trick. I would not have, like, that really was like impressed me. Just like that little bit of extra difference of like, oh, sure, I guess I could see this. And then also on the early side, going, I don't remember what it was, but it was like, oh, like they trick you with like, oh, well, you kind of walk through the level and like, oh, I see the star and there's a light receptacle right by it, but then you kind of like are working, but wait, there's no possible way I could possibly get light to it, and it turns out you're just supposed to use a jammer.
Yeah.
I love the trickiness of that sort of thing. I don't know if there's anything that really made me like curse them. I guess, sure, anything that required the dexterity of like I need to run between these mines with good timing. Like I didn't like that in my puzzle game. This very cerebral puzzle game suddenly asked me to like, it's not hard
Yes.
platforming, but it wanted me to like perform in real time. I didn't like that.
Yeah, then you have
No.
a slip of the joystick, and all of a sudden, all your work, you run into one, and your work is wasted. You got to start over. Yeah.
Yeah. Fortunately, there's
I
that
think
little fast
that
rewind that saved me many times.
yeah,
I don't know if that's in
I
Reawakened
think
only.
that was. Oh, I thought you meant just the rewind where it brings you right back.
Yeah,
to the beginning of the
there's
puzzle.
you can manually rewind too. I know, and I've done that before when I've like, I think I jubed this.
I mean, I never did that. But I think it was I didn't like the puzzles where you had the connectors that had to be. It didn't seem like it was. It seemed like there was a trick to it, but the trick ended up just being you had to just had them have them at the exact right angles.
Yeah.
To get the placement just right, and you had to go back and forth, and especially if there's multiple that are connecting to each other, then it's kind of a guessing game of which one of these is wrong. So yeah, that was frustrating to me when I got to it.
I was in World C on my second playthrough when I realized that the game UI tells you if you have line of sight before you put down the connector.
That's so funny to hear, man. I remember when you mentioned that in the chat, I was like, oh man, that's hilarious.
The pain of like, oh, I must be off by an inch. Pick it up, reconnect, try again. Yeah. Don't be me.
I'm still trying to think if I know there were levels that I would walk in, and I know one of them with the mirror connectors. There was one, and I walked in, and it had the horizontal windows, and there were a couple of connectors, and I'm like, well, you just have to like go back far enough and shoot, and then I'm like outthinking myself, right? Where it's like, there's no way that's going to be that easy. Like, is it really? It's really just going to be, I just have to angle this so that, right, there's like one tighter angle within one, but you have to like shoot through the windows and stuff. And that's exactly what it was. And it's like, thank God I did not spend 20 minutes, right, overthinking this and I just tried it and did it. And it was that easy. That didn't happen very often. But there were a couple like that where I just walked in, boop, and the puzzle happened. And I was just like, oh, okay. And then you go back out and go to the next one. Yeah, the ones where, yes, definitely if I had to try and be quick and move, I would get one of my kids. Especially the fan one where it like had to like blow you around a corner.
Oh yeah.
That I was not gonna keyboard myself to success with that one. But there was a one where you had to use the jammer to like physically block one of the murder balls, like at one end of a narrow hallway to go down and get another jammer.
Yes.
Oh my God. I stood up and cheered for myself when I nailed the timing for that. Because again, right, like why did Elohim make murder balls? Like, why doesn't it just like zap me and freeze me? Like, why? You obviously do not love me as your child. If I'm blowing up. Yeah, that click rewind, man. Although you have to like watch your failure in reverse.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was one. Because there aren't many where they're like, oh, whatever you use, completely forget what this tool is supposed to do because you're gonna use it as a barrier. You're gonna use it in a way that you don't normally think of. Which those puzzles were few and far between, thank God, because those were not my favorite.
Yeah, what you just said is probably about 75% of the puzzles in both DLCs is just using tools in ways that you never we're
Oh,
trained to use them, so it's very I made it through one DLC puzzle and I said screw this because I'm just like I don't have the
I'm
brain for
good.
this. But yeah, I think for me, like, what I don't maybe I'm just weird, but I don't like when puzzle games try and trick you. You know, like with
Yes.
the red herrings really do annoy me. Because so some of them are pretty obvious. Well, relatively obvious. So there's one the labyrinth one. I knew going through that puzzle that like there's just physically no way to get a red beam over here. So like I have to find something else. But deception was one of those puzzles that every time, you know, so I think I've played through the game a total of 3 times, and every time I come on to, I didn't really remember very many of the solutions this time around. I remembered some of the things, like some of the tricks, like using one jammer to block a door and then pulling another jammer through and that sort of thing. But I didn't really
Mhm.
remember a lot of the actual solutions. But there are definitely certain puzzles where when I came up on them, in my most recent playthrough, like with the video game book club, as soon as I walked in, I was like, "Oh God, not this one!" And I didn't even remember what the solution was or the details about the puzzle. I just remember having this visceral feeling of like, "Why did they make me do this?" And
Yes.
deception is one of those. And then in World B, High Ground was another one where you have to like basically jam walls from like a ledge, and you get like 2 jammers and you got to like position them in different ways to like
Yes.
navigate through the puzzle. um
Oh yeah.
that one really annoyed me. um and just yeah, puzzles like that in general, I think, where they're trying to trick you and not give you all the information that you need, I think were some of the things I wasn't a big fan
There's
of.
one, I'm trying to think where it was, where the jammer was up on a ledge. And
Mhm.
apparently you can just reach up and grab it off the ledge. I don't know that.
Oh,
How do I know that I can grab it off the ledge? Oh man, that ticked me off when I realized, oh fine, I'll just take this. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Actually, that
similarly, at the
puzzle's
very
great though.
That whole level, I know what you're saying. Yeah, no, it pissed me off. And then you have to let
did we lose you?
Oh,
Did we
the
oh.
bomb go
yes.
through the whole level, and you have to
brutal.
open the
Yes.
door, close the door.
Mhm.
Yes,
Oh yeah,
that's
you're talking about in World A, right?
yes.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking
Yeah, you
about.
have to like let it go up the stairs and over. And doesn't that one, don't you blow up a gun in that one?
Yeah.
Blowing up the guns is the
At the end.
best. Yes. Yeah, you have to like scuttle him through
Yeah.
like you're herding a little sheep. And it's like, okay, we're gonna go this way now. Shut the door. Yes. It's a great level except for the jammer. Should send him an email. Like,
Right.
guys, tweak this one thing.
The later levels have words for you because there's like you need to like use a hexahedron. It's not a cube. To jump up on a ledge,
Not a cube.
turn around and pick up the hexahedron, take it with you, and use it
What?
again
Okay, that one I
elsewhere.
was gonna say. That one felt so good to figure out though. Like, yeah, you had these like shelves high up, and you had to move things up, and then you had to drop the hexahedron so that it would push you up higher. Oh, that's great.
I don't think I
Wow.
did that solution. I'm not sure what level you're talking about. I was just talking about like there's one late in world. I think it might even be in C7 where like you're just like literally stacking the boxes on. I don't even know what to call them. They're not the mines because they don't blow up. They're like the friendly electric balls that
The
Oh, I know what
not
you're
so
talking about. Yeah.
deadly. Yeah.
that like you
The pacifist balls.
yeah you put a
There you go.
you put a hexahedron on one, you jump on it, you ride it across the next ledge, you turn around, you grab the hexahedron off of it, use it to get onto the next not murder ball, the friendly ball, the pacifist ball, and then like you repeat this process a couple times, and there's a different level where like you
Wow.
need to make a
Yeah.
staircase of 3 blocks, like because you need to make a 2 high step, but you can't jump too high. You can only jump 1 high. So you need 3 blocks, and then when you
Right.
get onto the ledge, you turn around, you pick up the top step that you just got off of, and use to jump up to the next ledge where you can finally grab it's a connector or a jammer or something, and then bring everything back down with you. Which gets a little tedious. Was like, okay, I need to move these 3 blocks from point A to point B. I'm gonna have to run back and forth so many times.
Yeah, the block movement can get kind of like you said, kind of tedious, especially like when you're needing to I know which puzzle you're talking about. The one like there is one where there's like you have to keep stacking like multiple times and then like break down your staircase once you get above the ledge to like make another little staircase.
Yeah.
I think that's what the solution is. Yeah,
Yeah, and then that's the
um,
one where you wind up like pushing like 3 or 4 boxes underneath a fan to make the connector high enough.
Oh yeah.
It's the same puzzle.
Wow.
I was so mad because I didn't know you needed a 4th box for that. I thought you could get away with like just 3, and so then like when I did it, I got this solution, and then it wasn't high enough, and I was like, "What the hell?"
Yeah,
Because then I had to redo the rest of the puzzle, or I had
Yeah.
to do the rest of the puzzle, and I didn't even know that.
Like the only way out, like you could like just okay, I just like let me rip the fan off, and everything was crashing down. And you got to restack, like go find the 4th box. It's annoying.
Did anybody manage to get into any of the secret worlds that you could unlock, like with the stars? This was going to be part of like the star discussion, but there's like, for if you don't know what I'm talking about, then basically one of the things you can use the stars for is that each of the hub worlds, or each of the little like mini hub worlds, A, B, and C, has a door that you can open up with stars, and it leads you to, um, they're kind of like slightly more challenging versions of like the red puzzles, and they give you gray sigils, which are used for like a secret at the end of the game. But it's like you don't need it to actually beat the game. But I'm curious if anybody managed to kind of just stumble upon that in their playthrough or not.
I knew what I was looking for, and
I did actually.
yeah, I got into the
did
one in
not.
World A because that needs like the fewest
Mhm.
stars to get into.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
just
I
happened
didn't
to
do the
stumble
star
back.
doors.
Mhm.
Go ahead.
I didn't do the star doors, but the purple sigil doors were life. So that's actually what I'm still working on for. I think I'm on B. Is I have like
Mhm.
2 more. I have to find 2 more purple sigils. But that's why I'm playing the game. Like those are the best things. Oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah, the reason I bring up the secret star doors is mostly because of their impact on the like on the world building and kind of the story. So I think this is kind of like where the spoilery version, the spoilers are going to come in, because we're going to talk about the story of the game and kind of what your thoughts were on the story, and what were your favorite things or least favorite things, or what did you like about it, etc. But so just wanted to give a quick kind of spoiler warning here, because everything else we've already kind of talked on. I have like a whole like list of questions where I'm like, let's just talk about everything. But I want to talk, since we do have like about half an hour left, I want to talk about the story, because for me, the story is one of the main things that actually, like when I say this is one of my favorite games, like I wouldn't necessarily say that it's like it has like my favorite puzzles in any puzzle game ever. But there's like something about the story itself and the world building that like that really captivated me, and actually like I haven't like written anything professionally, but it's like it's made me think about like, oh, like I'm gonna think about being a storyteller and being a writer because of how the world building in this game is. So I'm wondering, kind of first of all, like how did you guys like pay attention to the story very much, or were you mostly focused on the puzzles? Because I'm gonna kind of tailor the rest of the discussion towards like how in depth you guys actually got into the story.
I read every piece of lore on the terminals, so I was definitely invested.
I definitely read the lore, but at the same time, it was just like words. It was just words. And I didn't really appreciate where it was going until the very end. Yeah, so like, I mean, I'm playing it back again, and it's just kind of it's words. It's just words.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
absolutely
I
loved
paid
it.
most attention to the
Every
emails
yeah.
and
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Every time there was a computer that would like ping at me, it was like, yes, let's go. Like I was always super excited to see what it was going to give me, right? To see
Yes.
what Jurassic Park references we were going to get, which is hilarious because I just
Yeah.
finished reading Jurassic
Yeah,
Park.
Oh wow.
The crossover was delightful. Yeah, and I had just gotten to where I had hacked in and the computer was like acknowledging me
Oh yeah.
as like a being and starting to give me permission to do things. Um yeah, just they could have not done that. That's
Hmm.
the thing. Right? That's like the extra yummy chocolate with a cherry on top of this game that just adds to every other little bit. Um for me as a person who enjoyed that.
That was definitely the camp that I was in. Every time the terminals would pop up with the little eyeball blinking at me, I was like, I'm about to spend the next like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, not even thinking about puzzles and just like reading and trying to understand what's going on here in the world.
Yeah.
I think I cut somebody off.
At the end, I wished I hadn't like, oh, like if I want to get all the endings, I needed to save one, but impulse control.
Yeah.
Oops.
Oh yeah, fully exhausted all of those every time I saw them. Yeah, I was most interested in the emails and just the scientists talking to each other to see, okay, what actually happened here. And yeah, that then it became cool, like you said, that when you start talking to that being that's trying to help you out, and then there's a little bit of a quarrel with Elohim, and yeah, that was really cool, really well done.
Yeah. So I guess like before we go further, because that's like kind of two different aspects of the story, right? Which is the Milton versus Elohim kind of discussion, and also then there's like the emails between all of the scientists. And one thing, I guess I want to figure out like so for LL Cool Games, kind of like what's your understanding so far about what's going on in this world that you're in? Because I think because if you're in World B
Gosh.
right now, there's certain things that you might not have seen yet, and I don't want to like completely spoil the story for you if you haven't gotten there, or
No,
unless
it's
you don't care.
totally fine. I'm not going to get
Okay.
there. There's no way those recording puzzles are happening in my lifetime. So, from what I understand, right, am I part of the library? Like I got to a point where I was starting to see breakthroughs, right, where I would see like flashes of other bots is just what I call them.
Oh yeah.
And he would say, you know, oh, pay no attention to that man behind the curtain. And it was like, no, obviously something is happening here. Um, right. And the library, right, Milton was just starting to kind of be like, you still don't make much sense, but here's passwords and here you're allowed to right, you're allowed to do this now and right have those like majorly philosophical questions. That I really felt like I was getting somewhere. So no, talk about everything, please.
Yeah, so I'll do like a really quick because for people that do kind of want to experience some of those things on their own too. Like I won't go in like all the detail, but what I will say is that um, you kind of learn without going into the super secret worlds. There you learn kind of essentially what happened is humanity had some kind of problem that essentially wiped everyone out, but it was like a gradual process. And there are
Mm.
some hints that you get about this. There, it's not obvious that they are hints until you do kind of a second playthrough, but there's like there's one email that I remember very distinctly where it's just like I've got it, he's got it, we've all got it, yay, and it's like a song that the guy wrote or something. I forget the exact context, but like there's lots of little hints that like something bad happened, and the world C star door kind of gives you more insight into that. But basically humanity is getting like wiped out, and at some point they created this simulation which is designed to kind of get you as an AI to start like thinking about what it means to be human, and that's part of what like this conflict between Milton and Elohim is designed to do, is to get you to start thinking more philosophically about what it means to be a human and what it means to be a person. And there's a lot of discussion about in the game about like, can an AI ever actually be human, which I think is something that's really
Yes.
interesting given kind of everything that's going on today. So I kind of wanted to just be a little bit freeform with that and kind of just kind of put it to a discussion to the group about kind of what your thoughts were on the story, if you had gotten that far, or if you had any thoughts about it based on what I just said, or if there are questions that you had, and just to kind of have a little bit of a free form discussion there before we kind of close it up. Because like for me, just to kind of maybe kick it off, for me that's part of what I enjoyed so much about the story was that there are like lots of emails between people where they're like, oh, you know, like the basic story is that what happened is there's some kind of virus that got introduced into humanity, and so there's like a lot of people where it's like, oh, I started showing the first symptoms, and I'm gonna go home spend some time with my family, and it's like a very personal story, and I think it's one thing like there's an email that is sent from like a person who said like, you know, I know that I still have work to do here and I feel bad about leaving you guys, but you know, I'm hoping I can get back to my wife before the end happens. And it's like this really dark kind of story. And so for me, that's what left it kind of staying in my brain as long as it did. So I don't know if it had the same kind of impact on anybody else or if they took something totally different from the story. So that's kind of where I wanted to open things up.
Yeah, it was kind of a long. I try to just put my thoughts in order. So anyone else to go for it while I try to put thoughts in order. But I'm just like, I just liked the different paths you could kind of take through the interactions, like
Mm-hmm.
you know, as Milton, you know, points out the flaws in your logic. How do you react to that? Like, it really kind of challenged me to think about like, oh, well, how would I actually answer this?
Mm-hmm. Did you find the discussions with Milton to be like thought provoking or like more annoying or kind of somewhere in between?
Somewhere in between. Some were downright annoying because it was like I don't like any of these answers. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
some, you know, when it was like, oh, like you're literally spitting back my exact words at me and pointing out how they contradict each other. That was really interesting and thought provoking, I thought. And then yeah,
I liked how they had some funny answers too. That you know, anytime that you could challenge them or just say something to throw them off. I'm like, oh yeah, I got to pick that one. That's good. But yeah, other times they were just like, okay, I'm ready to get back to the puzzles now. So, but overall for me, I like how they just they drip fed those interactions and always made you feel like there's some mysteries that you're trying to solve here of what happened. It pretty early on, it felt like you're in a post-apocalyptic world and something happened, and then it wasn't until the very end that I actually once I beat the game, I'm like, oh, that's what happens. I didn't see that coming, but yeah, I enjoyed just interspersing the mythology with the emails and with the more concrete, like, oh, people just talking about song lyrics and what they ate and stuff. You know, it humanized those just characters that you're only hearing about more. The recordings too with the lead scientist. I'm forgetting her name, but
Mhm.
that really
Drennan.
helps move the story along. Yeah, Drennan. Yeah.
Yeah, she was by
So
far my favorite part of the game, I think, as far as like the story was concerned. I really loved, especially the towards like the tower climb sections when she really starts getting into like questioning whether what she
yes,
was doing was worth it. Like that stuff, I think was really really well done.
yeah, that was good. I remembered I posted in the chat early on that you know um, a lot of the terminal text that came out would have words redacted or like encrypted or something, and I kept thinking
Hmm.
there's gonna be like a key you unlock at the end of the game, and then you get to reread these with those words put back in. So, so I wonder why they did that. I mean, I guess at sometimes it was clear. Oh, they're skipping this with these words, or they're blocking these words just to keep the mystery that they'll reveal it later. But other times it seemed a little unnecessary.
Yeah, it's kind of a spoiler for a lot of that. A lot of those redacted words like aren't actually anything. It's like they're actual words, but they're like in hex, and you're supposed to put it into like. There was like a lot of I forget what they call them. It's not really like augmented reality, but it's like stuff where you were supposed to try and solve a puzzle like outside of the game. Like, oh, like I wonder if I were to put this hex into like a
Oh,
converter, like a text.
crazy.
Yeah, like I
I
wonder what it
wondered
would
about
say.
that.
Yeah, but a lot of it like wasn't actually relevant for anything. It was just like there was things like, oh, I am Elohim and I did this thing, and it's like, all right. But it didn't actually like add very much to the lore. So you didn't miss out on a lot there.
Gotcha. Okay.
But yeah, I think that one of the things that I found kind of really well done about, with regards to the story was specifically how there is it's like it is kind of shrouded in mystery, right? And you never even like in I mentioned the Star Door and World C and how they kind of tell you exactly, or they make it more explicit what happened, but like what happened to humanity kind of isn't really the point, right? It's more like
Right.
what does it mean to be human? And that's a real big theme throughout the entire game. And I think that's like what I liked about it the most is that it's very easy to get bogged down in like lore and stuff, but they don't really do that because they don't need to, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It- it's not what happened to humanity is definitely not the point, but I also definitely did not play this game for the first time in March of 2020, and that's a choice I made.
Ooh.
Oh man, yeah.
Yeah, I went back and looked at my notes and that
Huh.
hit differently in 2020.
Yeah, especially March of 2020 is like just when
Mhm.
everything started
Yeah.
just going completely haywire. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I don't know if I think I might have mentioned it, but it was the lore of the game is basically a virus that went around humanity and just like wiped everyone out. They don't make it clear what kind of virus it was, but anybody who was alive in 2020 will know that's not really the point.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm gonna say like through the like A, B, and C worlds, the music was like almost like hymnal or like very very much you're in church. But when you actually climbed the tower, it was more like a Jason Bourne movie, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I did appreciate that change, and I'm a music guy. But the fact that the climbing the tower, it was a totally different feel,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Yeah.
Did you have like a favorite? Did you have like do you have like a favorite world, and did you have like a including the tower climb? Like, what was your kind of favorite part of the game? Just either from like a vibes perspective, or just from kind of just moving around and not for the puzzles necessarily, but just as like, oh, this is like a really cool like design,
Well, I think I alluded to it earlier, just when I kind of clued in that it's while you have your levels, your puzzles, but it's also open world. When I clued into that was absolutely a real eye opener to me. Loved it.
What about like what about everyone else? Like what was your just from like the kind of aesthetics of everything, maybe whether it be like the way that the levels like just looked, or whether the music, like what was kind of like your favorite world to just kind of be in?
Gotta think.
It keeps changing because it keeps getting better, right? Because you're in the Grecian, right,
Mm-hmm.
areas, and it's like, oh my god, this is so gorgeous. Oh, this is so great. And then you go to the Egypt one, and it's just like, this is so amazing. Or you go out to the beaches, and I just stand there because, yeah, the environments are just enrapturing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Messenger World A is like just like this whole thing is just like outside on the beach.
Oh my
and-
god. I spent probably 2 hours wandering around. Plus, it was like midnight when I got that last sigil. Plus, the Tetris puzzles, thank you. I
Oh,
love the little Tetris puzzles to open doors. It makes me feel so right. Just that little dopamine hit before I'm I'm gonna go through this sweet door. I wandered seriously. I was up till 2 a.m. Right, like skipping around with butterflies after opening that first purple door. That's the whole game for me right there. Like the puzzle in there was so easy to open up, right? But it didn't even matter because there were butterflies and waterfalls, and it was so stupidly beautiful. And then immediately it's like, okay, the next level I have to get this door. And I haven't yet, but I will.
Somewhere along the way of the video game book club, I think it was Jake who said, like, this is the classic, just one more level. Just one more.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that hit home in a big way.
Yeah, one thing I know for LL Cool Games, actually you can get to World C without having to do any more like red. You can just do it with purely the green sigil. So if you like just want to explore more
Yes.
more
Okay.
of the world, you really don't have to do any more like the recorder puzzles. Thank God.
You
Okay.
can get an
so-
ending of the game with just the green and yellows. You need the yellows to get
All right.
I think you need the yellows to get enough of the green pieces, maybe. But yeah, the reds are only for the tower climb, and you can reach what's generally considered like the bad ending. If you
Yeah.
don't,
It'll be the ending. Capital T, capital E. Okay.
Well,
Well, good. I'm glad you said
I
something.
couldn't agree
There's
more because
basically three
I've
endings.
had the ending and I'm done. I've had an ending.
It
We're
was a
done.
bit weird kind of putting the checkpoints together because you really can go to like basically the final world of the game within like the, maybe 20, 30 minutes. If you kind of plan your route out. And so,
Hmm.
I was like, well, I feel bad because if you don't make it all the way through World B, then you're not going to see World C. But like, I should mention that you can get to World C without having to actually do all that stuff in World B. So, and it has like a totally different feel too. So and it's worth exploring, and there's some kind of hidden secrets in some of the worlds that you don't. If for somebody who likes just exploring the world, there's at least like 2 or 3 levels I think
Yeah.
that have secrets that you can find that aren't puzzle related at all. It's like you just go into like a secret door and there's like a little hidden area that's very cool.
There was one I found just totally by accident. Like, oh, I walk through that door. I wasn't trying to, but it's just that's a false wall. And there's just like this random cubby where this guy is just like writing at a desk. There's nothing to it. It's just there.
Yeah. Yeah, there's another one. I
Amazing.
forget where it is. I took notes on it somewhere, I think. But there's a place where you can fall through the ground, and I had never seen this before. And I like I said, I played through the game like 3 times, and I was just walking around in World C trying to look for something, and then I fell into the ground, and I got into this really weird area, and it like made me really unsettled because I'd never seen it. I'm like, what is this?
Yes.
It's very weird. So
I found that
definitely
too.
like it's cool to explore.
Was that the one where it's like you're like in an air duct when you fall through, and then you
I
hear
think so.
elevators babbling, basically?
Yeah.
That was
It's
wild.
super weird,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, it's very, very unsettling.
I was like, did I imagine that? I went back and found it a couple more times and ran through it again. It's like, yeah, is there something different now?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I don't think.
So I think we got like
yeah.
I think we got like 14 minutes left. So we're gonna kind of get to the end, kind of the end parts and discussions here. So I think one thing or so 2 kind of quick questions, and then we'll kind of give the final scores. So what's one thing we've touched on this a little bit, so if you don't have anything else to add, that's totally fine. But like, what's one thing that you think the game does really well that you wish more puzzle games would kind of incorporate? And what's one thing that you wish the game just did differently?
Okay, so yeah, as I said, like just the fact that you have your really like a level that you have to solve, but it's also open world, and I really love that. And I would love to play more games like this in the future. And there's no way I would have ever played this without the video game book club.
Your check is in the mail. We'll get you that bribe later.
Good job.
Beauty. Beauty.
Yeah, I say what I really appreciate about the level design is that very clear, self-contained, but like, okay, it's not just like I can see everything on one screen. Like I'm gonna be walking like some of those levels, like you talk about like detention, just ginormous. Like
Yeah.
having to put it all together is just so satisfying at the end when it's like, yeah, this is much bigger than just like a typical like locked box. Okay, I'm in a room. I need to find, the three switches, whatever. Maybe it's a small screen transition, but like these levels are big. What I wish the game had was some sort of like in-game hint system just for like I don't want to have to go to
Yes.
YouTube. I don't want to have to go to GameFAQs. Just give me the hint. And there is an in-game hint system, but like you have to like go through these hoops to unlock. Like you have to find the messenger islands and then get the sigils. And like no, just give me the hint, people.
Yeah. And then there's only 3 of them in the entire game.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So 3 hints. That's your total for
Well,
the
and
in-game.
yeah. I felt like that was really confusing too. Honestly, when I got those pieces, I was like, I just got 3 free pieces. Like that's totally what I thought it was.
Yeah.
That I was going to be able to
Oh,
trade it
yeah.
1 for 1 and be like, sweet, I don't have to do this puzzle. Sing. And it was like, nope. That's
Nope.
not what's happening. And then the internet even said, like, oh, it'll give you, hints on the walls or something. What? No,
We didn't even
that
talk
was
about
Yeah.
not something that took place.
Did we even talk about the QR
Ah,
codes? We really
yeah.
didn't.
No.
The QRs would be something because it's so much. So, right, I've played Elden Ring, so I know, when you can leave notes for people for good or for worse.
Or yes.
But these, because they were canned,
Yeah.
they weren't actually helpful, but I did appreciate that other people have done this before me. And that's even one of the things you can paint, right? Is I've been here before, right? And other people's have been here before me. So we're
Yes.
obviously going in the right direction. Like
And-
and I always did try and pick the positive ones when I was painting. But
Mhm.
that's something that I wish it does seem like it's probably a little complicated to put in there. And obviously it was limited to how many, because it was the same names that would come up again and again
Yeah. Well,
Oh,
through
yeah.
my playthrough,
I
who were on the tags.
I think it's part of the lore is like these were actual like other entities like yourself, whatever you are, on the metaphysical level, like had maybe tried to do this before and gotten to those places and maybe they got past them and maybe they didn't. Like I think that's part of the game lore is that there were other like individual entities. It's like when you get to like the final tower climb, especially the very final part, where it basically becomes this co-op puzzle with like one of the other entities is like moving around and like grabbing connectors and jammers and stepping on switches for you because you can't solve the puzzle alone. And it's like
That's amazing. So the
That
recording
makes
is kind of
QR
prompting
awkward.
you for that.
yeah. And speaking of
That's
recording and the QR
awesome.
codes, you could for an achievement on platforms where it have achievements. Sorry, Switch fans. Find a spot with a paint bucket and a recorder. Make a recording of you painting a QR code, and then play it back and scan the QR code.
Of course.
It's like message from yourself or something. It's funny.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah. The message is something like "What am I?" or something crazy. Yeah. So briefly, like so you get the first or bad ending. Once you finish all, you do have to. actually, oh, I don't know if technically you can get to World C, but I don't think you can get the ending without doing all of C7. Like, yeah, I think you have to.
Yeah, I
do,
think you have to do all of
Yeah.
the puzzles to get that ending.
Yeah, you can get the bad ending by you've collected all the sigils across all the levels, excluding the messenger levels, and then Elohim opens the grand doors and welcomes you through. And that's kind of like
Wow.
the bad ending in a way, because it's like the obedience ending. And
Okay. Yeah, the canned expected ending.
And then it's like, well, I have all these red sigils I didn't use, and those are for the tower climb. You go through the tower, which Elohim specifically forbade you from doing.
He did. Yes.
And he gets increasingly mad. Like when you get to the top of the tower, like he loses track of you. Like he apparently can't see you in the tower for a while. And then you get to the top, and it's basically, this is the free will ending. Like you're able to like bring about an end of your generations, it says, by like you chose to defy, and now that stops. Is this some sort of like iterative, like, okay, each successive run, like all those QR codes are from previous versions of my same program, maybe with some like my program has evolved and adapted like differently now. It or am I really a conscious being with that free will and that thought capacity? I defied Elohim. Was that free will, or was that just a glitch in my programming? I don't know. I don't think.
And then there's a third. Yeah, there's a third super secret ending, which you have to get all the stars, some of which are, like I said, I don't know how you would find them without a guide. And that one, you like become a messenger, like how you get the hints from people.
Really?
Like, you like become a messenger, and then you can leave a thing on the wall. So,
That's cool.
It's pretty interesting that like that's like the final ending, or the final kind of secret ending.
Yeah. I have dreams of doing that someday, but it's like, I don't know if I really want to go through all the star levels.
Yeah. No, I definitely
love that
like
that's an
looked up
ending,
YouTube for that.
though.
So.
Yeah.
That's like a perfect, right, full circle. Like I've gone beyond. Oh, I'm gonna make myself tear up. I've gone beyond my own existence, and I'm encouraging the next, right, life form in finger quotes to come and try and see if they are human too.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah. And it's so interesting, like, what really are you? Are you just like an artificial intelligence? Like, I feel like when they were designing the program, like they even thought like maybe this will be. I got the impression like they were thinking maybe some aliens will find this program and they'll be able to interact with it somehow and like see what we were, maybe. But that might just be me wishing for more sci-fi things.
No, keep wishing, please.
Yes. Well, I do see on Twitch we have 2.5 minutes until our next ad break, so let's try to wrap by then. Any parting thoughts from anyone, and then I'll do an outro.
Yeah. What about like a star rating out of 5? What would you guys rate?
No halvesies. This is C3 rules. Star rating. Jube, you're up. Spot on.
Honestly, I'm gonna give it a 5. I am so thrilled I played this, and there's no way I would ever have played this without the video game book club.
Nice, I'd love to hear that.
Jube.
I think I give it a 4. It was really good. The puzzles were really solid. It's docked 1 because some of I would have liked more hints in game. Some of it was too difficult, and then I compare it a lot to Portal 2. I think those are better games with very similar mechanics, feels to them, and I just I would give those a 5. So,
but we have a hexahedron. They only have a cube.
Yeah.
Ella, what do you got?
I would definitely say a 5, just because of the construction of the game, the love and the thought. I don't want to know how long it took them to make this baby, to put it out into the world. So yeah, if I can, I'd give it more than 5. That is just an excellent thing that needed to be in the world.
Interesting. Despite completely getting just roadblocked by the puzzles, you're still.
Oh my god, no. Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Still getting a 5. All right. I'm gonna say it's a 4 just because I think there's, even with Reawakened, I think there's some quality of life things, just like that in-game hinting, I think is a deal breaker for me to keep it from a 5-star. Basic, what do you got?
So I think I'm also probably not surprised that not surprisingly going to give it a 5. I think like if we had like a 10-star rating system, it would be probably like a 9, just because of there are some quality of life things I would like to see. What the reason, when I say it's one of my favorite games, it really is more of like a out of like how it made me feel at the end having played it. But as far as like the actual gameplay, like I would say like I think I'm more in love with games like Portal. But I think like from a story perspective, this one kind of that's where this game did it for me.
And when Basic you and Jubes alluded to Portal, like that was definitely in my dark period of gaming. Like I've not played Portal. I know nothing about it.
Oh, go right
You're
now.
missing out. Yeah, you
gotta
gotta
do
play
it.
that game. It's amazing.
Right?
Both of them.
Portal's
Yeah.
an easy 10 out of 10 for me. Portal and Portal 2 both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a me issue.
Portal will I'll probably throw Portal on the summer games list if we do a summer break list again, like we did last year. But I haven't thought that far ahead yet. All right. Well, this has been a lively and fabulous discussion. Special thanks to Basic for keeping us on track and preparing this, and even for just picking the game.
Yes.
I've been bugging for like a year.
He has. I do take input. This is a benevolent democracy dictatorship. That's not democracy. It's a benevolent dictatorship where I listen to the inputs of the club members, my 2 co-admins, Smeagol, who did not play this with us, but shout outs as well, and Basic. Always the voices in my ear, and like sometimes I just completely go off on my own, like I did this week, and said, nope, we're playing Indica, this weird indie. And that's just like, yeah, just try that for a week. That it's only going to take you like a couple hours to beat the whole game if you want to. And then after this, we are going to do Lost Records, Blood and Rage, Bloom and Rage, not Blood and Rage, minor difference, close enough. And I think that's going to be interesting too. Again, that's not one I've played either, but I'm just going out on my own and picking that one. So that's how we do this.
So
I'm excited for both of those.
Info I want you to know. I am playing Indica, and it has been a really enjoyable story so far.
Yeah, I'm like an hour
Again,
and a half
because
in.
of
it's weird.
because of the video game book club.
Yeah.
Love this.
Yeah. That's what I'm here for. It's one of the reasons I try not to just pick, like Batman. We did Batman last year, and there was like some people like, yeah, let's do the second one. I was like, it's not a bad choice, but also I'd rather showcase different games, and so sometimes that's what we do. Like Talos is very different than anything we've played.
For sure.
All right.
Love it.
Well, thank you again to my panelists, Basic, LL, Trav G, Jube. Special thanks also to Joel, our executive producer, for putting together Channel 3. I have been your Info Cynic, and we will see you all next time. GG's, everyone. Good night.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Thanks.